We are here at the intersection of Highway 181 North. This is northbound lane. And this is where the accident took place, dated April 8th, 2014. Today is February 17th, 2016, almost 2 years after the accident. But this is the intersection where it took place. And I was on the inside left lane and headed through a green light just as this car is going, but the light was green, when from the opposite direction over here came Mrs. Sullivan, Miss Clementine Sullivan's rental car, and she made a illegal left turn where she should have yielded to the right-of-way to me, because I had the right-of-way as these cars have the right-of-way. She made a left turn right there, and I was on the inside lane, and I struck her car on the passenger side right in the middle of the intersection, and threw me off my motorcycle, and I thought I was going to be run over by other cars. But this is the intersection where the accident did take place. And then Mrs. Sullivan, after I struck her car, she kept going through the intersection because she lives in this Greenway subdivision, and she kept going and going past this point to where we see that car, that red truck, making that turn right there. It's about right before she turned into that neighborhood where she lives down that street. She stopped there. So it's quite a bit away from the intersection, and I thought she was going to be a hit and run on me for a few minutes, but she stopped right about there. I'll hone in on about where she stopped, because I couldn't even see the side of her vehicle where I had struck her, right there where that car is now. And so she never did cross the street or attempt to cross the street, even when the police showed up to see how I was doing in the middle of the intersection. She stayed right about here on the edge of the intersection where that sign is, that little orange sign, and she just stared at me while I was laying being attended to in the middle of the intersection right there by the ambulance. And so she also had a duty when there is an injury or a fatality in Texas for one to see how the other party is doing, the injured party, but she never crossed the street to find out. So I have never talked to her in person. I wouldn't know her from anyone else, because she never exchanged information with me as she should have, or even checked to see how I was doing. But that was the intersection where the accident took place. That is South Presa, heading this way as we can pan. And of course, this highway is 181, where I was with my motorcycle going through that green light when the light was green. And I did have two eyewitnesses, a man and a woman, and I asked them to give their statements to the police officer. So this is actually where the accident took place, to give you an idea of the terrain. And the weather was very similar to this weather we're having today. It's about 60 degrees, very pleasant. Not a cloud in the sky, same as that day, except it was a little bit later in the day. It's approximately 11:30 a.m. right now, and the accident took place about 1:45 in the afternoon. This is where it took place. Highway 181 and South Presa Street, or Spur 122 as it's known.